I'll start. Okay. Good morning, everyone. The topic for my presentation today is the kinesthetic model of learning. This is a model which Rashmi ma'am gave a hint about in a session in the morning, and Bala ma'am also highlighted about how not just theoretical but practical knowledge is also important for the subjects that we are teaching in BJMC, because subjects that we have are not entirely theoretical; they are a mix of practical as well as theory part. So the objectives of choosing this topic for this PFDP is that first is the reason why I prefer choosing this methodology for teaching is the proper understanding of the concept and the subject. When the students start doing things while simultaneously learning the same topic in the class, the probability that they'll be understanding the topic increases. The second is inculcating the habit of doing among the students. If students develop a habit of only coming to the class, listening to the word to what the teacher has to say, doing the assignments at home, if that habit develops, they will not be able to perform well when they start working. So if at the time of their education only, if they have a habit of learning in the class and simultaneously doing it, if they are able to develop this habit, the chances that they'll be doing it properly when they go in the field increases. Third is provide them live examples so that they connect with the topic better. The reason why this objective has been included is because one of the subjects that I'll be taking up is media laws and ethics. That is an entirely theoretical subject, but that subject can be made practical if we include more and more case studies in it. If we include case studies of different cases, different topics in it, the subject can be made practical, and ultimately the students will be able to connect with the topic better. The last objective is to give a clear understanding of the subject, and it will help them in choosing their fields effectively. There are at times it happens, especially when it comes to advertising and public relations. These are two fields that students confuse a lot, and once they are done with the graduation, once they apply for internships or their jobs, that is when they realize how different these two fields are, advertising and public relations. Why? Because at the time of their education, at the time of their graduation, they are only learning it theoretically, which makes advertising and PR sound somewhat similar. But if they are in a habit of creating campaigns, advertising campaigns and PR campaigns separately, they will be able to understand how different these two things are, and ultimately it will give them a better understanding and give them a better clarity of what field they have to choose when they are done with their education. Next is a brief introduction of what exactly kinesthetic model of learning is. So kinesthetic model of learning was given by Neil D. Fleming, and he gave a model which is called as the VAC model, that includes visual learning, audio learning, and kinesthetic learning. So kinesthetic learning is a part of that model, and initially when this model was introduced, it was done keeping in mind the students who are not very well grasping the topics theoretically. But later on, when new pedagogies were created for teaching, this kinesthetic model of learning was adopted in that, in which certain topics are taught to the students not just theoretically but practically as well. Kinesthetic learning is a learning style in which learning takes place by the student actually carrying out a physical activity rather than listening to a lecture or merely watching a demonstration. It is also referred to as tactile learning. Although it is used specifically for students who learn well by doing, the kinesthetic learning model is applicable to certain subjects and courses that allow the students to do and learn instead of listen and learn. So as I mentioned, there is a habit among students that they will listen in the class, listen in the lecture, and go home and do the assignments. But if you are using the kinesthetic model, they will be able to do the things in the class so that the teacher can rectify them then and there. The benefit of using this model is that that students will remember the things by going back in their minds to what their body was doing that time. They also have a very high hand-eye coordination, because the things that we are doing actually retains in our muscle memory. So once we are, if I take example of advertising, so if they are actually organizing a campaign, it will stay in their muscle memory, and ultimately when they are doing it in the field, they will be able to do it better. So over the years, multidisciplinary teaching methods have become a trend in the field of education, where the academicians have to make use of multiple methods to teach different subjects. Since the subjects in the courses of BJMC are practically oriented, kinesthetic model of learning, according to my understanding, is a great method to teach the students. As mentioned in the previous slide, kinesthetics is an important model of teaching and learning, as it helps the students retain certain concepts better, as when they are practically doing something, it will retain in their muscle memory. Another reason as to why this model is better than the traditional lecture is that the student stays more attentive in the class, because when they know that they have to perform it practically, they will automatically stay more attentive. They will not rely on the notes, they will not rely on the study material, because they have to perform it once the lecture is over, and they will be evaluated on the basis of that. So usage of kinesthetic model in my subject. In the upcoming semester, I'll be taking advertising, I'll be taking media laws and ethics, and environment communication. So the subject advertising is majorly practical. So in my previous organization where I worked, I asked my students to perform, to create campaigns, to create practical assignments with every topic. And at the end of the semester, what I believed was that they had a better understanding of what was taught to them throughout the semester, because they were actually doing it. When I was showing them advertisements, when I was asking them to create advertisement of every appeal, at the end of the semester they had more clarity of what the appeals are, what the different execution styles are, and how they can be used for different type of products. So if the students throughout the semester develop a habit of creating the advertisements, they will understand the subject better. The next subject that I have is media laws and ethics. As I just mentioned, it is a solely theoretical subject, but which at times becomes boring for students, because not everyone has interest in theoretical subjects. So if we ask students, like in the assignments also that I've shown to Bala ma'am, I've mentioned all the case studies in it. Okay, the reason why, the reason of doing that is that when they know that they have to do case studies, when they have to study about the cases of the different topics that are being taught to them, they will pay more attention in the class, and when they go through these different cases, they'll understand the topic better. So that is the ultimate goal, that students, maybe because a lot of these students will be working as a journalist in the after graduation, so they should have a clear understanding of what different laws are, which they will know when they go through the different cases. The last subject that I have is the environment communication. We have a lot of issues related to environment, everyone knows them. So the subject becomes very general to the students, but when they will be asked to make reels about the different environment issues, when they will be asked to make different posters, they'll be asked to make documentaries, that is when they'll actually understand on the ground level of what these issues are, and what they can do as a responsible citizens to control these issues, or to at least pay attention to them. So this is why I've chosen kinesthetics model of learning. Thank you. Questions, please.
मेरा एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, विशाल सर के तरह ही सिंपल क्वेश्चन है कि आप जो कह रहे हैं हर टॉपिक का प्रैक्टिकल या हर सब्जेक्ट का प्रैक्टिकल, विल इट बी पॉसिबल विथ द टीचर एंड स्टूडेंट रेशियो जो अभी है उसके हिसाब से, विल इट बी feasible?
Sir, I gave that example as to what I was doing in my previous organization. There definitely the number of students were less, so it was more convenient. Here that is not the case. So instead of giving practical assignments for every topic, we can at least do that for every unit, because evaluation of that will be easier, and the assignments will be more broader, and students will be able to do them better. Even they will have time, because they have multiple subjects, not just my subject, they'll be having multiple subjects. So if we give one assignment per unit, that is doable. Thank you so much.